Hi, I'm Dave from On the Kennebec, and I'm here with Bob McIntire to talk about a walk through Hallowell's burial ground, the Jane's Walk, Saturday, May 2nd. So this is part of a broader symposium, but tell Bob, tell us about this 10 a.m. Saturday burial ground walk.
Well, great, terrific. Well, as you mentioned, this is part of a local history symposium that we're having on May 2nd, both the cemetery walk and then a talk at City Hall in the afternoon. But the cemetery tour is part of a Jane's Walk. And if you're not familiar with Jane's Walk, they're in honor of Jane Jacobs. And Jane Jacobs was an interesting community organizer. She was actually an author and wrote a remarkable book called The Death and Life of American Cities. She lived in what was around Washington Square in New York City, and Robert Moses, who was a land use planner and a real kingmaker in New York, was going to drive a highway through Washington Square Park. And she decided, along with many others in that area, that they were going to resist that because that the community in which she lived was pretty remarkable. It spanned a lot of economics, different economic levels, and different nationalities. And she thought it was important that the communities maintain that life. That's what really made a community great. And she used walks through the community as a way of organizing people to learn what it is about a community that they liked. Was it the history? What was it? And then what could they do to improve their community? So Jane's Walks, I think there are going to be over 500 Jane's Walks all across the United States. There's going to be about 50 of them in Maine, and Hallowell has one of them. So you can go on mainepreservation.org, see a listing of those. Ours will be, as you said, at the Hallowell Cemetery. And what we're doing in this Jane's Walk is that we're walking through the older portions of the Hallowell Cemetery and pointing out some of the notable individuals. And then we're going to end up focusing on a man by the name of James Matthews, who was an enslaved person in South Carolina who escaped, somehow made it to Boston. And then from Boston, we don't know exactly how, he ended up in Hallowell, where he lived the remainder of his life. So he came here in 1836, died in 1886, and is buried in our cemetery and is thought to be um, the narrator of a story, My Life as a Runaway Slave, which is pretty horrific and really kind of served to kickstart the abolitionist movement here in Maine. That started in Hallowell. That actually came out 15 years before Uncle Tom's Cabin. So this was like one of the first narratives of an individual who had been enslaved and escaped. So that's what we're going to do on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock on Water Street in Hollowell.
Who's going to be leading this?
I'll probably be leading parts of it, and we're going to be meeting tomorrow actually to kind of divide up the script
Cool,
and
cool.
see that.
That cemetery, if people don't know, it's really cool. And from like Deacon Pease's picnic table of gravestone that they had set up there to the trees that are growing up around some of the I mean
Sure.
there's just a lot of very interesting things. So and it's I don't know what it's going to be like on May 2nd, but it's actually a very beautiful place
It
to
is. Yeah,
be.
it's a nice
Uh,
place.
and we are hopeful that eventually there is something in the works to potentially recognize James Matthews' grave as some sort of historical site.
Right. We've made an application to the National Park Service. They have a website called Network to Freedom, and that identifies locations that are part of the Underground Railroad, among other things. So important location. And there are over 800 of them on this website in the states that people track to. In Maine, however, we only have three websites or three sites that are on that list right now. One of them is the Obsidian Church, which is an African American church that was formed in Hallowell, or excuse me, that was formed in Portland. And then the home of Harriet Beecher Stowe, who is the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin, and then a family cemetery in Brunswick that served the Black community, both enslaved and free um, Black people in that area. So we made
Fingers
an
crossed.
application.
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So that's great, and that should be very interesting. So
I hope.
I know I'm going to be there, and
Great.
so hopefully we'll see a bunch of other folks.
Okay, terrific. Hope to see you.